Technology and Livelihood Education, Agriculture and Fishery Arts for Grade 8. Our topic is Republic Act No. 10654, also known as an Act to Prevent, Deter, and Eliminate Illegal, Unreported, and Unregulated Fishing. The following are the objectives of this lesson. The following are the content area vocabulary. Aquatic pollution, when harmful substances like garbage, chemicals, or waste enter rivers, lakes, or oceans, making the water unsafe for people, animals, and plants. Endangered, rare and threat species, refers to aquatic organisms, including certain corals and seashells, that face a high risk of extinction. Their classification is guided by fisheries legislation and international agreements on wildlife protection. Fine mesh nets, fishing nets with very small holes, less than 3 centimeters wide, that can catch even tiny fish, illegal fishing. Fishing that breaks the law, such as using banned tools, catching protected species, or fishing in areas where it is not allowed. Have you ever wondered how fishing affects our oceans, rivers, and lakes? Republic Act 10654, or the amended Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998, is a law that protects fish and their habitats by prohibiting illegal practices, promoting safe aquaculture, and conserving endangered species. In this lesson, you will learn its key provisions, explore sustainable fishing methods, and understand the importance of caring for aquatic biodiversity to secure food, livelihood. Republic Act No. 10654, also known as an Act to Prevent, Deter, and Eliminate Illegal, Unreported, and Unregulated Fishing, amends Republic Act No. 8550 or the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998. This law was enacted to strengthen fisheries management, protect aquatic resources, and ensure the sustainability of marine biodiversity for the benefit of present and future generations. This law was enacted to strengthen fisheries management, protect aquatic resources, and ensure the sustainability of marine biodiversity for the benefit of present and future generations. The following sections highlight key provisions of the law, focusing on application, aquaculture, fish capture, and the regulation of fish importation and exportation. Here are the key points made simple. 1. Stronger penalties, illegal fishers face higher fines and jail time as a warning. 2. Tracking of fishing vessels, commercial fishing boats are required to use a vessel monitoring system, VMS. Commercial boats must use GPS trackers to ensure legal fishing. 3. Port rules, illegally caught fish cannot be sold or passed through ports. Sustainable fishing. Fishermen are encouraged to use safe methods to ensure fish for future generations. Following global standards, the Philippines follows international agreements to protect oceans. In short, RA 10654 ensures fishing is legal, fair, and sustainable for people and marine life. RA 10654 Section 2. Application of provisions. This section establishes the scope of enforcement of the Fisheries Code. It applies to Philippine waters, the country's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, aquaculture areas, inland and coastal resources, and Philippine-flagged vessels operating abroad. Prohibition. All individuals, organizations, and fishing operations are subject to the law and must comply with its provisions. No one is exempt. RA 10654 Section 2. Application of provisions. This section establishes the scope of enforcement of the Fisheries Code. It applies to Philippine waters, the country's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, aquaculture areas, inland and coastal resources, and Philippine-flagged vessels operating abroad. Prohibition. All individuals, organizations, and fishing operations are subject to the law and must comply with its provisions. No one is exempt. RA 10654 Section 3. Outlines the enforcement scope of the Philippine Fisheries Code. It specifies that the provisions of the code shall be enforced in all Philippine waters, including areas where the Philippines has sovereignty and jurisdiction, and the country's 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, EEZ, and continental shelf. All aquatic and fishery resources, whether inland, coastal, or offshore, including fish ponds and fish pens or cages. 3. All lands devoted to aquaculture, or businesses and activities related to fishery, on both private and public lands. 4. All Philippine-flagged fishing vessels operating in areas governed by a Regional Fisheries Management Organization, RFMO, in the high seas, or in waters of other coastal states. This section ensures that the Fisheries Code's regulations apply broadly to manage and protect the country's aquatic resources effectively. RA 10654 Section 105. Importation and exportation of fish and fishery products. This section regulates the international trade of fish and fishery products to prevent the entry and exit of illegally caught or unsustainable products. Prohibition. Importing or exporting fish without proper permits and documentation. Trading in fishery products obtained in violation of the Fisheries Code. Penalties. Administrative fines, 5 times the value of the species or 300,000 to 500,000 pesos, forfeiture or destruction of the products. Criminal penalties, up to 8 years imprisonment, double the administrative fine, and disqualification from fishery-related businesses. Purpose, to ensure that only legally sourced, safe, and sustainable fishery products are traded, thereby protecting the integrity of local and international markets. Aquaculture and fish capture. Aquaculture, often referred to as aquafarming, is the controlled process of cultivating aquatic organisms, especially for human consumption. It's an industry that involves the breeding, rearing, and harvesting of plants and animals in all types of water environments, including ponds, rivers, lakes, and the ocean. Fish capture technology involves catching aquatic animals. Fishing vessels primarily load and discharge cargo in ports and service transportation at sea. Capture fisheries focus on fish, prawns, crabs, mollusks, and more. India ranks third in inland fish production. Fishery, the practice of raising or catching fish for food and industry, important for nutrition and livelihood. Aquatic pollution. Republic Act No. 10654, Section 107. Aquatic pollution refers to the contamination of rivers, lakes, seas, and other bodies of water. This section prohibits pollution of aquatic environments that may endanger fishery resources, habitats, and human health. Prohibition, dumping of hazardous substances, industrial waste, or untreated sewage into water bodies. Destructive practices such as deforestation and improper agricultural activities that contribute to water pollution. Criminal liability, imprisonment from 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, fines twice the administrative amount, plus 15,000 pesos per day until compliance. Facilities may also face closure or cease and desist orders while the case is pending resolution. Purpose: to safeguard aquatic ecosystems against pollution and preserve water quality for fishery productivity and public welfare. Rule 107.1. Technical Committee functions: assess environmental harm, health hazards, and obstruction to aquatic activities. Evaluate damage for penalty imposition and rehabilitation. Monitor compliance with rehabilitation plans. Rule 107.2. Technical Committee composition: representatives from Deter's Environmental Management Bureau, Philippine Coast Guard, Marine Pollution Unit, NFARMC, NFRDI, and an academic representative. Members receive travel allowance, honorarium, and per diem. Experts may be invited to assist, an academic sector representative. Non-compliance with good aquaculture practices, Republic Act No. 10654, Section 112. All aquaculture activities, such as fish breeding, rearing, and farming, must follow good aquaculture practices and environmentally sound standards set by the Department of Agriculture. These guidelines are meant to protect fish stocks, maintain ecological balance, and ensure sustainable aquaculture operations. Prohibition: failure to follow sanitation, safety, and environmental standards. Use of harmful feeds. Penalties for violators: administrative liability, fine of 10,000 to 100,000 pesos per day until compliance is achieved and full payment is made. Criminal liability: imprisonment of up to 3 years, fines twice the amount of the administrative penalty, suspension or cancellation of permits, administrative fines, and possible closure of aquaculture facilities. Purpose: to promote sustainable and responsible aquaculture that ensures food safety, environmental protection, and industry growth. Rule 112.1. Acts of non-compliance. Failure to observe good aquaculture practices includes, but is not limited to, experiencing 50% or more mortality of cultured fish within an aquaculture zone, causing poisoning of wild fish populations, allowing widespread contamination by pests and diseases in aquaculture areas. Fish culture. Use of fine mesh nets, Republic Act No. 10654, Section 93. Fishing nets must have a mesh size of not less than 3 cm between opposite knots when stretched, except in cases allowed by BFAR for specific species. Prohibition on fine mesh nets: it is illegal to use fishing nets with mesh sizes smaller than those specified by the department. Exceptions are allowed for catching specific small, mature species: fry, glass eels, elvers, tabios, and alamong. Penalties for violations: discovery of a fine mesh net on a vessel presumes illegal use, administrative penalties, confiscation of catch and gear. Fines: 20,000 pesos for municipal fishing, community service if unpaid. 50,000 pesos for small-scale commercial fishing, 100,000 pesos for medium-scale commercial fishing. 200,000 pesos for large-scale commercial fishing. Criminal penalties: imprisonment of 6 months to 2 years. Fines twice the administrative amount. Confiscation of catch and gear. Purpose: to protect juvenile fish and ensure that they reach maturity, reproduce, and contribute to sustainable fish populations. Rule 93.1. Exceptions to the prohibition on fine mesh nets: the use of fine mesh nets is generally prohibited. However, exceptions are allowed under a specific gear license or permit issued by the department, provided that the activity is properly regulated and monitored. Exceptions include catching immature species for aquaculture/culture purposes, such as bangus fry, sugpo fry, banak fry, potas, and other fry or fingerlings authorized for propagation. Exceptions include collection of aquarium or ornamental fish and invertebrates, harvesting of small but mature species, including but not limited to alamong, tabio cinerapan, dillies, certain snails, use of fine mesh nets with a minimum mesh size of 1.9 centimeters, stretched mesh between opposite knots, in ring nets, purse seines, bag nets, applicable only for the capture of sardines, mackerels, and scads, provided that appropriate measures are taken to avoid the catching of juvenile fish. Fishing and overexploited fishery management areas. Republic Act No. 10654, Section 94. Prohibition. Fishing in officially declared overexploited fishery management areas is illegal. Penalties. Administrative. Confiscation of catch and gear. Penalties. Administrative. Fines, whichever is higher, or community service if unpaid for municipal fishers. Municipal. 3 times value of catch or 20,000 pesos. Small-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 100,000 pesos. Medium-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 300,000 pesos. Large-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 500,000 pesos. Penalties. Administrative. Fines, whichever is higher, or community service if unpaid for municipal fishers. Municipal. 3 times value of catch or 20,000 pesos. Small-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 100,000 pesos. Medium-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 300,000 pesos. Large-scale commercial. 5 times value of catch or 500,000 pesos. Penalties. Criminal. Imprisonment, 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. Fine, 500,000 to 5 million pesos. Confiscation of catch and equipment. Cancellation of fishing permit or license. Fishing or taking of rare, threatened, or endangered species. Republic Act No. 10654, Section 102. This section protects aquatic species classified as rare, threatened, or endangered under national and international laws.
This is Dr. Mylene Huliganga. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Mylene Huliganga. Thank you for watching and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.